Greetings everyone! Welcome to episode 4 of my Gold Silver Crystal competitive guide, in which I'm going to continue talking about the OU threads that I started in the previous episode. So without further ado, let's go continue this. So here we have Starmie. Starmie is arguably the best spinner in OU. It is fast, has the ability to hit the most common spin blocker with a super effective type Psychic, I'm talking about Gengar, and has access to an instant recovery move. However, Starmie's lack of a true offensive power allows for bulky offensive Pokémon like Snorlax to come in almost for free. Still, Starmie can be a valuable addition for a team. His common checks and counters include Zapdos, Raikou, Executor, Jolteon, Fortress, Snorlax, Blissey, Umbreon, and even Dragonite. Now, onto the set. The most common set you will see includes Rapid Spin, Surf for Stab, Recover, and then either Psychic, Thunder Wave, Reflect, or Light Screen. So, Rapid Spin, Surf, and Recover are a given. The last slot depends on what you want to do. Psychic is second stab to hit Gengar, and also check other threats like Machamp. T-Wave provides paralysis support for the team, and Reflect the Light Screen also supports the team further, for example to help a sweeper to set up. Reflect also makes Snorlax switch-ins less troublesome. Moving on to Marowak. Now Marowak was blessed in Gold Silver Crystal from the tradition from Red, Blue, Yellow with the advent of Thick Glove. With it scores an insane attack without any kind of setup. This makes Marowak one of the scariest offensive threats in this gen. His low speed means he needs support to effectively pull a sweep, but once he gets it going, it's hard to stop. He still has his own checks and counters, which include Starmie, Suicune, Cloyster, Fortress, Vaporeon, Meganium, and Dragonite to some extent. Now, the most common set for Marowak, which is basically what he needs, has Swords Dance, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and either HP Bug or Rest, with Thick Glove as an item, of course. After Swords Dance, Marowak caps its attack at 999, which is the maximum you can get here, as you remember, and it's ready to steamroll. EQ hits everything hard, and Rock Slide provides coverage. For the last slot, HP Bug helps against grass types like Executor, but Rest can be used too, especially paired with a Heal Beller, because Marowak has no form of recovery outside of that. Also remember, if using Swords Dance, set the attack IV to 13, otherwise the Marowak glitch happens. I explained that in the previous episode, in the first one actually, when I talked about the mechanics of GSC. And using HP Bug sets your attack IV automatically to 13, so you don't have to worry when you use that. If you play Stadium 2, however, you don't have to worry, the glitch doesn't happen there. Next is Machamp, which is another scary offensive Pokemon. A lot of common OU teams have a glaring fighting weakness, and Machamp can easily exploit that. Huge attack and reasonable bulk allow it to perform well in this tier. Never underestimate this beast. Checks and counters include Starmie, Executor, but you need to be careful with HP Bug, Zapdos, Dragonite, both of them had to be careful with Curse Rock Slide, Suicune, Starmie, Fire Blast can deal with him, Misdreavus if you don't have HP Ghost on Machamp, and Gengar as well, with no HP Ghost or even no EQ. As you see, the checks and counters are very set dependent. Now, speaking of the sets, you have two common sets from Machamp in OU. First one is an all-out attacker with Cross Chop, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Fire Blast. With this, Machamp can cover a lot of different types. Cross Chop is his main move. Stab plus high chance of a critical hit means that when a critical hit happens, it bypasses any defense boost or attack drops. EQ provides covers poison types, and the Rock Slide hits flying types, And Fire Blast is here to hit Steel types harder because of their low special defense, without wasting any of the Cross Chop's PP. The other set is a Curse Champ, which has Curse of course, Cross Chop, Rock Slide, and either HP Bug or Ghost. This sacrifices coverage for the ability to set up and break through walls. Rock Slide is needed to hit flying types like Zapdos or Dragonite, which otherwise could be troublesome. And the choice between HP Bug or Ghost is whether you want to one-hit KO Executor after a curse, or if you want to hit Ghost types hard while maintaining the coverage on Executor. And Starmie too. Now Vaporeon. Vaporeon got the spotlight when the GSC veteran Borat discovered the potential of the growth set. It has good bulk, coupled with being a pure water type. And thanks to growth, it becomes arguably the best special sweeper in the game, which is rare to see in Gold Silver Crystal. It is especially scary towards the endgame, where its checks and counters are already gone or weakened. The checks and counters include Zapdos, Raikou, Executor if you don't have Ice Beam, Cloyster, Roar Suicune, Jolteon, Snorlax if no Acid Armor, but Drumlax beats Vaporeon, however, and Dragonite if you don't have Ice Beam and that Dragonite has Haze. Now the set that makes Vaporeon so scary is the Growth Sweeper set, which has Growth, of course, and then either Surf or Hydro Pump, then Rest, and either Sleep Talk, Acid Armor, or Ice Beam. Sometimes HP Electric can be used there as well, but it's a bit more more specific, more gimmicky. The set that makes Vaporeon so threatening is basically that. Growth boosts its special attack to dangerous levels, and the choice between Surf and Hydro Pump is an accuracy and PP versus power argument. Rest for survivability, and for the last slot there is a couple of options as you saw. Sleep Talk, Vaporeon can function as a tank that sets up at the same time. Acid Armor allows Vaporeon to beat things like Curse-Lax by setting up the defense on his face and then growth up and just sweep. Ice Beam provides coverage against things like Executor, so the choice is up to you. Now Gengar. Gengar's main strength is his normal immunity and unpredictability. You never know exactly what he wants to do. Scouting Gengar's moves is recommended before doing anything reckless. Checks and counters: Tyranitar, Starmie, Espeon, Alakazam, Steelix, Houndoom, Blissey, Umbreon. But remember, any of these counters can be dealt with appropriate coverage move. So standard set here is Hypnosis or Dynamic Punch, Thunder or Thunderbolt, Ice Punch, and then Explosion or Destiny Bond. Most of Gengars you'll see have a moveset similar to this one. Hypnosis allows you to check, put a check to sleep, and while Dynamic Punch can hit stuff like Tyranitar, Snorlax, or Blissey hard, even with Gengar's low physical attack. The choice between Thunder and Thunderbolt, once again, power versus accuracy. Ice Punch is great to hit Zapdos and ground types. Explosion and Destiny Mode both allow Gengar to go suicidal on something and take it out. Both require some prediction to use. Explosion is better against walls like Blissey or Raikou, while Destiny Bond is better to take out sweepers like someone that cursed up to oblivion. But there is another set which has Minlook, Perish Song, Protect, and Thunder. This set is so unexpected on Gengar. Perish Trap set from the next Pokemon I'm going to talk about, it's basically slapped into this one. Minlook to trap, Perish Song afterwards, and protect for the next 2 turns, then switch out on last turn. Works wonders against mono attacks like Monolax and walls that can't really hurt Gengar, like Blissey. Thunder is there to take out on phases like Skarmory and Suicune. Now moving on, I'm going to talk about Misdreavus, which is a nasty wall breaker that has a very powerful niche in Perish trapping. You know what I talked about in the last Pokemon. One of the reasons a phaser is recommended on every OU team. Being a pure ghost type, he takes on grounds better than Gengar, and isn't weak to Starmie's Psychic, which means he can spin block better against it. He lacks the immediate offensive pressure of Gengar and the unpredictability, however. Checks and counters, you have Houndoom, Tyranitar, Umbreon, Pursuit, Marowak, and any Pokemon with Roar or Whirlwind. Another set that you're most going to see on Misdreavus is a Perish Trap set. Minlook, Perish Song, Protect, and then either Thunder, Attract, Confuse Ray, or Pain Split. It's very simple. Minlook and Perish Song and Protect, they work just like I said on Gengar. However, for the last slot, Misdreavus has some options. Thunder for phases like Starmie and Suicune, but Attract allows you to buy a turn or two, but make sure that Misdreavus is female, since most of the competitive Pokemons are male, because of, the attack drop you get when you are female. Confuse Ray works in a similar fashion to Attract, but it's regardless of gender. Pain Split is also an option to recover a bit of health. The best way to counter this set is to use a phaser to force him out before the Perish count runs out. Using a Pursuit Trapper also helps to nail him when he switches on the last turn. You lose your Pursuit user, but you potentially take him down too. Now here comes Nidoking, probably the best mixed attacker in the tier. Nidoking can put a lot of work for your team. With spikes up, it becomes very annoying to deal with. Common checks and counters: Suicune, Vaporeon, Espeon, Heracross, Starmie, Miltank, Umbreon, and Blissey. Standard set for Nidoking has Lovely Kiss, EQ, Thunder, Ice Beam, or Fire Blast, which is a standard mixed attacker. Lovely Kiss is a cherry on the top of the cake, instantly weakening a check or counter by putting him into a deep nap. EQ is for stab, and then Thunder and Ice Beam for bolt beam coverage, but sometimes Fire Blast is used for steel types. Remember, because of Lovely Kiss, Nidoking can put any of those checks and counters to sleep, which makes them essentially not checks and counters anymore. So be careful with that. Now Miltank. Miltank's strong points are her defense and access to Heal Bell, plus an instant recovery move. She's mostly used as a cleric for the team and as a physical defensive wall. Still has checks and counters, which include Gengar, Misdreavus, Starmie, Machamp, Raikou, Zapdos, Vaporeon, and Drumlax. The setup you're going to see on her is the cleric one, with Heal Bell, Miltank, Body Slam, and Growl. Yes, Growl. I'm going to explain that. Well, Heal Bell and Miltank are essential for her work as a cleric. Body Slam is a good stab for spreading paralysis on the opposing team. And now Growl. Growl allows Miltank to check any cursed sweeper in the game, including Snorlax. That's why it's a good move on her. And it also allows her to weaken any physical attacker, making switch-ins from teammates much easier. Now the rival cleric of Miltank, Blissey. Blissey is a huge special defensive wall. No unboosted special attack can go through her, and even boosted ones have a lot of trouble to get past this pink blob. However, her lack of physical defense powers and no offensive presence make her very vulnerable to setup Pokemon, mainly Snorlax. Checks and counters: Snorlax, Machamp, and basically any Pokemon that sets up on her. Cleric set here with Heal Bell, Soft Boiled, and then two of the following options: Light Screen, Toxic, Sing, Fire Blast, among others, but these four are most common. Well, Blissey can get free Heal Bells against special attackers like Zapdos or Suicune, which gives her a niche over Miltank as a cleric. Soft Boiled instantly recovers health, and for the last two slots, Light Screen helps a teammate against special attacks, for example Marowak trying to set up. Toxic, this encourages sweepers to come in. Sing is inaccurate, but if it hits, you can put a check out of commission. And Fire Blast helps against toxic immune steel types. Other options can be used there. Feel free to try out. Next on the list is Jolteon. It was far more common in the early days of Gold Silver Crystal, but even now it's still something you have to account for. The best thing about Jolteon is its speed, but it's too bad that it is so frail. Now checks and counters include Roar Raikou, Steelix, Rhydon, you have to be careful with HP Water though, Marowak, Nidoking, Snorlax, and Quagsire. Now the most common set, not rather sets, you will see, one of them is the Baton Passer set, which has either Agility or Growth, then Baton Pass of course, Thunder or Thunderbolt, and Hidden Power Water. Baton Pass either Agility or Growth, because Baton Passing both it's really hard on Jolteon. Agility sets up slower sweepers like Marowak, you know, the famous Joltwhack combo that was a big hit in the early Gold Silver Crystal days, and still is good today if people don't expect it or you make it work. And it can even set up Drumlocks. Growth, on the other hand, can make special attackers hit like trucks. Pick the stab move of your choice, and Hidden Power Water is to cover ground types, including Steelix, which Hidden Power Ice cannot cover. The other set here is a Growth Sweeper set. With Growth, Thunder or Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Water, and then Substitute or Rest. With this set, Jolteon can type a sweep. After a couple of Growth, Thunder, and Thunderbolt, depending on your choice, will smack your opponents hard. Hidden Power Ice or Water for coverage. Ice covers ground and grass, but hits Steelix neutrally. Water covers other grounds, including Steelix, but you are walled by grass types. Then Substitute or Rest. It's depending on your choice. Substitute blocks status and can help you set up on walls like Blissey or something, while Rest can help you to recover health and try to sweep later. But if you use Rest, be sure to have a heal Beller on your team, because Jolteon is so frail. Now Umbreon on the list functions as a mixed wall due to his good HP and defenses, coupled with 2 recovery options. Although it cannot go offensive directly, it has multiple ways of stopping offense and even of help offensive teammates. Now checks and counters include Heracross, Drumlocks, Machamp, Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Tentacruel, and other Pokemon that can set up on it that aren't hindered by some moves, as we're going to see. Now the Charmeleon set is a very common one. It has Pursuit, Charm, Toxic, Rest, or Moonlight. Pursuit allows Umbreon to snipe ghost types and even Starmie, but it won't do as much damage as Tyranitar or Houndoom. Charm prevents physical attackers to set up on you and even slows them down, forcing switches, which Pursuit can then abuse it. Toxic function in a similar way by forcing switches. Rest or Moonlight is your choice. Rest eliminates status, but Moonlight recovers instantly, even though only 8 PP stings. The other set is the Trap Pass set, which has Minlook, Baton Pass, and Charm or Toxic, and Rest or Moonlight. This is another main reason to have a Phaser on your team, because it can trap your opponent, Baton Pass the trap to a counter while they are helpless. Charm and Toxic help to weaken your opponent before passing. If you don't have a Phaser and you face this set of Umbreon, you are screwed. You most likely are going to lose a Pokemon unless you predict and go directly to a counter before it has a chance of setting up on you, that is. Now it's Heracross, a very underrated Pokemon. Huge attack and good speed and special defense, but its main problem is the existence of flying types like Zapdos and Starmie. Hera struggles to hit them, but still, get them out of the way and suddenly you have a very dangerous threat. Now checks and counters include Zapdos, Starmie, Steelix, Dragonite, and Misdreavus. The most common set for Heracross is a Curse set, which is very simple. Curse, Mega Horn, Rest, and then Sleep Talk or EQ. Now Curse up and Mega Horn hits like a truck. Rest to keep yourself alive for longer, and the choice between Sleep Talk and EQ is a choice between being more of a tank or coverage. Then you have another set which has Mega Horn, Earthquake, Endure, and Reversal, the End Rev set. As an item you can either put Miracle Berry or Black Belt. This is very situational, but if you can get it to work, it can clean up the rest of your opponent's team. Get its counters out of the way and get in a situation where you can use Endure to be at 1 HP, and then let loose with the reversal. Mega Horn and EQ are for coverage. The item choice is up to you. Miracle Berry cures status with like paralysis, which can ruin this set, but Black Belt gives reversal an additional power boost. Then we have Rhydon. In the old days, Rhydon was used more, but with HP Electrics running around, it has a hard life. But nevertheless, Rhydon is still a good Pokemon and can do work for your team. It has huge attack and defense, coupled with very good HP. Those are his greatest attributes, and you should never underestimate him. Then checks and counters include Suicune, Vaporeon, Cloyster, Executor, Starmie, and Machamp. And be careful with HP Electrics when you switch in. Standard set, Curse, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Roar. Simple but effective. Curse up to get even more defense and attack. Then EQ and Rock Slide for double stab and excellent coverage. Roar allows you to force out other mons, making Rhydon a good phaser. And then we have Porygon 2, a forgotten veteran. The problem with Porygon 2 is that Snorlax exists. However, it has something that Lax doesn't, an instant recovery move with good PP. That gives it a niche over the big lug. The check encounters include Gengar, Misdreavus, Machamp, Miltank, Umbreon, Tyranitar if it has Roar, and Starmie. Now, the set you're going to see most on Porygon 2 is Curse and Return or Double Edge, Ice Beam, and Recover. Curse up, and then attack with Return or Double Edge. Simple. Ice Beam covers defensive ground types. Even Steelix doesn't like to eat many of those. And Recover allows Porygon 2 actually to be good, while providing instant recovery move. Now, last but not least, some honorable mentions of Pokemon that I won't analyze as threats, but still have a niche use in this tier. And sometimes I even list them as certain checks and counters of threats I analyzed. Those Pokemon are Houndoom, Meganium, Golem, Espeon, Dragonite, Tentacruel, Charizard, Jinx, Muk, Smeargle, Quagsire, Clefable, Ampharos, Kangaskhan, Alakazam, Moltres, and Ursaring. I might analyze this Pokemon in later episodes when I refer to BL mons, but for now you have this list here, and also feel free to experiment with them in the audio tier. They aren't as good as the threats I listed before, but still they can do work in the right hands. This concludes this episode and also concludes my analysis of the OU metagame. In the next part, I'm going to start with UU and analyze the threats you can find in that meta. So look forward for that if you are interested in play Gold Silver Crystal UU. So without anything else to say, I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves and have a nice day. Bye bye.